Hello, everyone. I'm back and I'm somewhere different. I'm in San Antonio. Uh, Next 2 weeks, I'm going to be going to Germany for military training. So I'm super excited. That's why I'm in San Antonio. So absolutely excited. Can't wait to go. On the weekend, I'm going to go to Paris. So, oh, that's the plan, anyways. So super excited. I gonna be doing my vlogs as well, so you guys are gonna come along with me too. Oh, and if you want me to like post pictures as well, I'll just let me know. Oh, like the video. Oh, or I said like the video because I want you to propagate it and put it into the YouTube algorithm. But really, what I meant to say is post a comment. All right. But what I want to talk about today is an idea that's starting to form in my mind of the close interconnectivity of Eastern and Western thought. So, picking up from where we left off before, so I think more of the Western philosophy. He, um, my understanding of the Western philosophy is more of uh, thinking in terms of mechanisms. So you see it in our religions, like um, Jew, uh, like with the Jews, with the Christians, with the Islamics, with the all-powerful God, the architect, and being able to mechanize and control everything that happens within and life as well. Also, God being this eternal figure of the creator, the architect, the engineer. Whereas in the Eastern philosophy, you have some, Eastern meaning the Chinese is philosophy. You have something called the Tao or the Tao. There's multiple different pronunciations depending on the Chinese dialect. So, oh, I still need to uh, read over and see what kind of dialects, but I'm just gonna call it the Tao. So the Tao is kind of this is all encompassing entity that's not a being or a human, but more like an organism. So, treating the universe and life as an organism and us being part of this greater organism that is life and the universe, and that God doesn't dictate, hey, what we do, but the universe is constantly a, a acting upon us, and are actively a we're actively acting upon the universe. All right, so and there's this great a interconnectivity between all of the beings and the creatures, and also all the objects and um, aspects of life in the universe that connects us all. So, not uh, there's not this feeling that uh, something's planned, right? There's not a blueprint. God isn't. There's no God that is the master architect and master engineer that has the blueprints and the exact understanding of whereabouts of where our life's gonna go, but more of just, hey, it's the present moment, and this is happening too, and there are things that are happening to you outside of your control, but essentially that you aren't actually a, in control of them. But we can go down on the deterministic factor as later, because the Tao doesn't believe if uh, or philosophers of the Tao don't believe it's determinism. It's more of you're are in this his organism and you're part of this organism. and you play a role in it as well. Anyways, those are the two kind of thoughts, and philosophies I've been dealing with. But uh, as I've talked about in the beginning, I I keep thinking there's a deeper meaning within these philosophies that tend to connect them more than we like to let on. And one of these things that connects them, and that what I noticed as well, is that for both Eastern and Western philosophy, the human being is absolutely uncertain, or both of them postulate that the human being doesn't know anything, that they're completely ignorant and uncertain and don't know what don't know life really or don't understand life's aspects, and that at certainty of your beliefs and also of what you think is true, not think is true, but how you should walk in the world. Like if you think and uh, you're uh, you're certain in your own decisions and what you do, then both of these philosophy kind of refute that. And so we'll start off with an easy one on with the Western and society. So, oh, our uncertainty is in the a knowledge that God knows everything. You don't. You don't know anything. You don't know where you're gonna go, why it's happening to you. Only God knows what's happening to you and why it's happening to you. So it's a relinquishing of your belief that you know better than God. And you actually find that same idea with the great Tao. And the Tao is that you try in the Tao, you think that uh, you know better or than what is happening within the universe. You think you can control it. You think you can and do better. But what the great Tao talks about is that every time you try to understand the Tao, most most um, most philosophers believe that uh, the great Tao is unexplainable, kind of just like God, right? So God is and his actions are unexplainable to the human being, and the great Tao is unexplainable to the human being as well, and that creates uncertainty of why we do things, right? It's whenever we are certain in our beliefs and our actions that and then gets settled and cemented and solidified in those actions because of our certainty that true, I don't want to say evil, but we'll just say evil all comes into the heart. I think that would be a good way to put it, because that's exactly what happens with Cain and Abel in the Bible. Cain thinks Cain has a certainty that God is wrong, and in his certainty, a blooms resentment for Abel, who God deemed as having a better sacrifice because as it was. And well, that's my judgment. And but uh, that's that uncertainty, right? I for the Tao, I haven't done enough research into it to give a specific example, but I can't say that in the Tao, our self, are the representation of the self is an illusion. So for example, when I ask you who is growing your fingernails, who is growing your uh, hair, who is pumping your heart. So oh, those questions you can't answer because there is no who, there is no what. It's a joint organism that's helping to preserve this thing called Matthew Normand, or that I have called Matthew Normand. And in our understanding on trying on in our attempts in Western society to understand and this being in this organism, the we lose sight on how it's more or about there's just some things that you just can't control and you can't and explain, and we can and map out the whole anatomy of a human being, but to know exactly how that uh, the whole organism works with the nervous system and also the interconnectivity between the nervous system and the nails, and also how your consciousness as well is completely unexplainable based on the Tao. Now I'm doing a horrible job explaining it, but essentially what I want to point out is that in both Eastern and Western society, there is a greater entity that uh, we can't comprehend. And in our incomprehension, we should admit uncertainty and ignorance because there are greater forces than ourselves acting upon us that we have no control over. So in Western society, it's God, and in Eastern society, it is the Tao. Now, with both of those, it gets me thinking on how pivotal uncertainty and ignorance is for us as human beings. Because not even in just Eastern Eastern and Western philosophy, we see this uncertainty. We also see it in science. And it actually, one of the main tenets in science is that, to take from Stephen and C. Myers, that everything is provisional. Everything, your our first step as a scientist or first perspective as a scientist is coming into these experiments uncertain and ignorant and not knowing what will happen. Also, that all the rules and laws that scientists have made and, well, not made, have discovered also could be refuted in the future if there's enough evidence to suggest otherwise. So, for example, Newton's laws of physics. We think of it as this as end all be all, that it is how our universe works. But let's say a something with black holes is discovered. We discover something within black holes or with black holes that defies physics, and we start to understand it and we come up with a new rule. Well, now we can't say Newton physics is, um, is works throughout all the universe. Now we have to make an exception. And that's what it means to be provisional, is to be uncertain and ignorant about our understanding right now so we can grow and develop and understand the world better. So now you have Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, and science all having some aspect of uncertainty and being having humans be absolutely uncertain and ignorant about their about the world and their surroundings. And for me, I start to believe in certain lessons and certain topics once I start seeing the patterns within and these different philosophies, these different religions, these different areas in my life. And I think for me, having a that uncertainty in Western and Eastern society, the uncertainty in Eastern and that uncertainty in science, and also it reoccurring within the self-help books I see as well. Not as good of evidence, but also contributing leads me to believe that this uncertainty in ourselves as human is pivotal to, let's say, a pivotal to the human experience, and that we need to take it seriously, because if we don't, then we we stray away from what is virtuous and stray away from the quote unquote having a good life and affecting positive change to ourselves and people around us. And that is for another video. I talked a lot more than I thought I would. So, anyways, hey, it's my time to go to bed. Tomorrow's my cheat day, so I am so excited. I've got Nutty Bliss trail mix, honey roasted peanuts, yogurt flavored coated peanuts, dark chocolate raisins, butter toffee peanuts, praline pecans, and then get this macadamia nut, white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Oh, I'm gonna tear through them tomorrow, but that's for tomorrow. I think I lived a lifetime today, so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for y'all as well. I'll see y'all tomorrow.